Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tousi TV, your global news channel. I'm Maya Tousi and we have some breaking news coming from British politics. Apologies for a slight delay. There have been some technical difficulties and I'm blaming Keir Starmer's socialist government for bringing down our internet connection before we went live. But we are here. We're going to talk about what's going on with this tyrannical, stupid Prime Minister of the United Kingdom as his war on British Patriots have now been launched, apparently. So today we had the Prime Minister's speech, the leader of the Labour Party speech at their party conference. We're going to show you some videos from what actually happened. There is a response that has come from Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK, essentially at this point, the main opposition. What's going on here? There we go. Everything's falling apart. Don't get a cat. This is what happens. All right. Now, Keir Starmer declared, if you say or imply that foreign people who are foreign, who are not from Britain, if you say that they are foreign, we will come for you because you are the enemy. We will fight you with everything that we have. This is the latest announcement from the Labour government. This is a serious matter because this is no longer about rhetoric. This is about policy direction. This is about what this government is now going to be doing to ordinary people up and down its country for simply stating the reality and facts, which is obviously, if you're not from this country, you're technically not from this country. Let's quickly go to the Prime Minister.
Say or imply that people cannot be English or British because of the colour of their skin, that mixed heritage families owe you an explanation. The people who've lived here for generations, raised their children here, built their lives here, working in our schools, our hospitals, running businesses, are our neighbours. If you say they should now be deported, then mark my words, we will fight you with everything we have, because you are the enemy of national renewal.
You are the enemy of the national renewal. Now, national renewal is the new phrase that is now being used by the liberal globalists for simply saying we are changing and restructuring the way society works. Everything you knew about how society should work in the West with your borders and with your flags and your national identity, that's gone. Because we have to dilute the whole thing. We have to mix everybody and everything. Not necessarily just about skin color. No. They're talking about cultures and values and attitude. So if your jihadi becomes your neighbor, you have to be nice about it. The National Health Service in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the NHS, has now said not only cousin marriages and incest is a good idea. Well, they didn't just say it's fine. They are now promoting it. They are saying actually there are benefits to incest. This is the National Health Service under the socialist government. Now, David Lammy, who is now in charge of fairness and justice in this country, and he's also Deputy Prime Minister, claimed that Nigel Farage flirted, when he was younger, with the Hitler Youth. That's... I'm not even joking, by the way. I'm going to show you a video from earlier on when he was being interviewed. David Lammy said Nigel Farage was flirting with Hitler Youth when he was young.
Is Nigel Farage a racist?
I answered your question. I'm not going to play the man. I'm playing the ball as our leader did. I will leave it for the public to come to their own judgments about someone who once flirted with Hitler Youth when he was younger. That is for the public, but we will be...
Number one, Nigel Farage was born in 1964. Hitler Youth didn't exist. Number two, David Lammy started his answer by saying, I'm not going to play the man. Then he decided to play the man. Okay. Then there was a backlash. The whole Labour conference has been imploding for the past few days. David Lammy had to backtrack a little bit. He wasn't supposed to play the man, right? Reminds me of Kanye West's interview a few years ago when he was saying, I'm not going to say which doctor I'm talking about, what doctor, what race, what background, I can't, I can't say it. I can't say which doctor. It was a Jewish doctor. that was basically David Lammy's Kanye West moment. He then had to backtrack, although Kanye did it better and was funnier than David Lammy. Watch this.
They also suggested that Nigel Farage had flirted with Hitler Youth. Now, the party have said that's totally untrue, that that's libelous, contemptuous. What did you mean by that?
I think there were some articles circling around from a teacher, but I wasn't at school with Nigel Farage. I don't know what songs he sang at school, so I'm happy.
You have no evidence for that suggestion.
I'm happy to clarify. I did say it's for the public to make up their mind, and I did also emphasise that let us play the ball, not the man. So
you just played the man.
To play the man, Nigel Farage. In fact, I did a show with Nigel Farage and LBC a few years ago. Let us concentrate on the ball, the policy, which is the deportation policy, his policies on the NHS, which I think is to charge, and his policies on lowering tax cuts, which would lead to the bond markets, so not the man.
To be totally clear, you're pulling back from that comment that you made.
He has denied it. And so I accept that he has denied it, and I would like to clarify that position because in the end...
He's terrified he's going to get sued. It's just so funny. All right, so David Lammy also imploded, obviously. I'm going to go all out, full on Candace Owens. All right, I'm going to go Candace Owens. Guys, I don't know, but I know. I have a source telling me that the Labour Party... they have one mission, and their mission is to get reform into government. Everything that they're doing is they are helping Reform UK form a government. I don't know, but I know. I'm simply asking questions here. I have a source that I can't reveal, telling me things I can't tell you, but is the Labour Party trying to basically help Reform UK win the next election? Because this is the only reasonable explanation we have. So that was my Candace Owens. Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer then lost his mind and went on a rant as if it wasn't bad enough, everything you've seen over the last 7 minutes. Watch this nonsense.
Is listen to politicians who tell you there's a quick fix, a miracle cure.
That's what he says.
Tax cuts that magically pay for themselves. A wealth tax that somehow solves every problem. The Brexit lies on the side of that bus. Click here for your new country.
No, this is nothing. Keep watching.
Oil merchants.
Keep watching.
On the right, on the left. But be in no doubt conference, none of them have any interest in national renewal because decline is good for their business. I mean, think about it. When was the last time that you heard Nigel Farage say anything positive about Britain's future? He can't. He doesn't like Britain. Doesn't believe in Britain, wants you to doubt it just as much as he does. So he resorts to grievance. They all do. They want to turn this country, this proud, self-reliant country, into a competition of victims, saying to you, to working people, don't trust in each other. You can't fix this. This is not a great country. But it is, conference. It is a great country. It will always be a great country, a decent, pragmatic, tolerant, reasonable country that throughout history has stood its ground, stuck by its values, and built its future.
Enough of the wannabe gay communists. Now, of course, we are fair on Tousi TV, and we have to show you the other side. There is a massive response from Nigel of Farage, who has come out. He decided to make a speech after Starmer's rant, stood in between two huge union flags, hit back at Starmer.
Afternoon. Well, the Labour Party conference is over. The second party conference of our governing Labour Party, a party that won the general election with a massive majority, but finds itself just 14 months in very deep and in many ways deserved trouble. It's been an extraordinary conference. I've been watching party conferences for half a century. Never before have I seen one name so dominate a conference. And the remarkable thing is, it's somebody that isn't even a member of the Labour Party. Yes, it's me, Nigel Farage. And I thought the Mac cartoon on the front of today's Telegraph summed the whole thing up rather beautifully. The sketch was two delegates leaving the Labour Party conference, one saying to the other, next year we're going to the Reform conference because they don't talk about Nigel Farage all the time. It has been obsessive, whether it's the Home Secretary, whether it's the Health Secretary. It is a constant attack on me and what I stand for and what we as Reform UK, a party that has led the opinion polls now for over 100 polls. It's an attack on everything that we stand for and believe in. What I've learnt this week is that the government are incapable of beating us on our arguments. And as a result, the Prime Minister has decided to descend into the gutter and all of his cabinet with him. Let us be clear. Reform want illegal migrants deported from our country. And as I speak, a further 400 have crossed the English Channel today. Reform want the benefit system to be for UK citizens, for British citizens only, not for foreign-born nationals. Reform want foreign criminals removed from our country ASAP. Labour says these policies are racist and immoral, and by implication, Reform supporters, Reform voters, Reform sympathisers are racist too. Yes, if you think we should control our borders, you are, by the definition of the Prime Minister and his cabinet, all racists. Now, I don't normally worry about abuse being thrown at me. I've got kind of used to it over the course of the last few years. But to accuse countless millions of being racist is a very, very low blow. Why? Well, this language will incite and encourage the radical left. I'm thinking of Antifa and other organisations like that. It directly threatens the safety of our elected officials and our campaigners. And frankly, in the wake of the Charlie Kirk murder, I think this is an absolute disgrace. I used to think the Prime Minister was a decent man, somebody that I could talk to and chat to. We might disagree on worldview, but I thought he was a profoundly decent human being. I am completely shocked at his behaviour. I hope when he wakes up tomorrow morning, he feels ashamed of what he has done. This is a desperate last throw of the dice from a Prime Minister who's in deep trouble, a Prime Minister who can't even command the support of half of his own party. But I'm sorry to say, I now believe that he is unfit to be the Prime Minister of our country. His bizarre...
Yeah, so, fair point. I can't take this seriously. David Lammy. At this point, as I said, the only theory that makes sense is that the Labour Party are actually working behind the scenes to help Reform UK form the next government. It's the only thing that makes sense. There is a lot of reaction to this already. Ivan says it seems that he has declared war on his own people. Just a little bit. Yep, a little bit. Because he thinks that I don't know what he thinks, because I was going to say he thinks he has enough support from the other chunk of society. But if you look at the Labour Party in the opinion polls and the approval ratings, who's actually voting for these guys? It's absolutely fascinating. Apart from the bunch of champagne socialists and limousine liberals, there's not much else. Stu says, when Starmer's strong, he sounds like a Dalek. He does, doesn't he? Hang on. Wait, why do I not think about this? Can I just have a look? Don't worry, I'm just going to show you 2 seconds. I need to see if it sounds like a Dalek.
Is listen to politicians who tell you there's a quick fix, a miracle cure, tax cuts that magically pay...
Exterminate. Carter says, Farage, do us all a favour, take a flying leap. The Brits are all over you. Marga says, sounds like this is their swan song. It is always darkest before sunrise. Do not go. Wait, hang on. What is that? Have we just received... Oh. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. sorry, there's a bit of a situation with the Labour Party as we speak. There might be trouble for Keir Starmer tonight. I was literally just about to say, do not go gentle into that good night. And then seems like he doesn't have a choice. Andy Burnham, the mayor of Greater Manchester, his team are now already making a move, plotting to bring down Keir Starmer as the leader of the Labour Party and to prepare a leadership challenge against the Prime Minister. We will wait till tomorrow to find out more information about this, unless something is announced tonight. So that's there's already been some conversations over the last few days about Andy Burnham, but seems like it's not going to be a fun few months for the Prime Minister, whether he can even survive till the next local elections or Christmas. That's going to be a whole different conversation as well. So yes, Prime Minister, you can't really even try to go gentle into that good night if you want to. Part of my previous statement about Farage, I meant to say Brits are over Starmer. I was going to say that makes no sense. Thanks for that. Anyway, Andy Burnham, by the way, is going to be a worst option as well. And he's also not an election winner in that sense. For those who are familiar with Andy Burnham is basically the British version of Gavin Newsom in California. Basically, and he's currently in charge of Greater Manchester, and he's just making Greater Manchester worse than even before. And he thinks he's the sexiest politician in the Labour Party. And the only option I can see long term is after Labour lose the next election, and they will lose the next election, regardless of if the right divide the vote. It doesn't matter. Labour can't form a majority. It doesn't matter. The only option that will take a few years for Labour to recover is Wes Streeting, and not now. He's still not fully ready yet. He's still got a baby face. But he can push for the more liberal vote. He will never be able to get the Conservative vote and the general right-wing vote. But there's still a big chunk of the country, about half the country. If you are centre-left, you can get that vote. And if you get that vote, you win. You don't have to convince the nationalists or the conservative-minded people to vote for you as a Labour leader to win elections. You just need about 35 to 40% of the vote. And if someone like Wes Streeting in the future, not now, in the future comes, there is a bit of hope for Labour, but they will have to abandon the trade union vote, because Wes Streeting can't get the trade union vote, the traditional socialist vote, not going to happen. So right now, Starmer, Andy Burnham, Rachel Reeves, David Lammy, for the love of God, none of these people will have any chance of winning the next general election. It is all over for the experiment that Britain has been having with the Labour Party. The Labour experiment has failed miserably. It's over. And meanwhile, in the meantime, what we have to deal with is the war that has now been declared by the Prime Minister on the ordinary British people up and down the country. If you say that foreign people who are not from the United Kingdom, if you say that they are in fact foreign, Keir Starmer's stormtroopers will come for you, and as he said, they will fight you with everything that they have, because you are the enemy for stating the facts. And they are simply handing the next election's victory to Nigel Farage as a reform. So the fascinating part about this is that, as Nigel himself said, Keir Starmer and the rest of the Labour conference were very much obsessed with Reform UK, because they are the main threat. They hardly even talked about the Tory party. It's bad, because even when Labour was down here a few years back with Jeremy Corbyn and the early days of Keir Starmer, when Labour was down completely, the Tories were in charge, the Tories were still at their party conferences, we're still talking about Labour. You know, Labour Party, oh, we have to attack them. Things are so bad for the Tories that the party in government don't even bother talking about them, because they, at this point, right now, they are not relevant. Anyway, Thank you so much. Prepare for war, people of Britannia. We only have a few months left to fight for the kingdom. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.